medallion, take care of business, that Elvis Presley gave you. Did you put that away somewhere?
I did. A lot of mementos that I have. The only thing I still wear is the ring that he gave me. I lost this ring recently, and it came back to me. Well, I don't like...
Well, what
I
were you
lost
going to
it
say?
in Florida. Well, anyway, I don't like to talk about getting robbed because then it provokes somebody else to rob you. But we got robbed in Pensacola, Florida recently, about 6 months ago, I guess, or before that. And this ring was stolen. And I'm standing in the bank in Brentwood, where I live, a mile from my house, one day, and I look over across the way, and there sat a lady behind the desk working the bank, and she had my ring on her finger. I says, "Where'd you get the ring?" She says, "Oh, some guy here in town at a pawn shop. There's this ring here." My son, or I think it was my son.
Incredible.
It was either Jason, my son, or my wife, Dinah, who said to me, "Gosh, you know, if you'd waited a couple more weeks, it would have probably come all the way back home to you."
That's unbelievable. T.G. Sheppard is with us. We're going to take a break. Be right back with more.
Well, I hope we have a question here. It's been a great 3 years so far. We've got our first break in country music in 1975, 74. But it didn't seem to really kind of all come together until the last 3 years. I cut a song called "You Feel Good All Over" and last Cheater's Waltz. And since then, I think we've had 10, 12, 13 #1 records in the last 3 years, which is, it feels really good, you know. But there are so many people involved in a career when it does well. It's not just the artist. I can't take the credit. There are record producers and managers and booking agents and musicians that play on the records, and there are songwriters and the radio stations and the record buying public that really make everything kind of happen for you.
Isn't it kind of interesting that your career started really zooming up after Elvis Presley passed away?
I really truly think that a lot of people's careers kind of zoomed up. I don't necessarily think it was because of his passing, though. I don't think that I'm filling a void, if that's what you're saying. I think that the music trends were just changing about this time. Country music was and is going in many different directions, and I think that people's taste is varying, and there's more of a selection there now. That's why country music has become so big, is that all of a sudden there's bluegrass, there's traditional, there's contemporary, there's gospel, there's all types of country music. A funny story was a lady on the plane the other day, flying somewhere. I sat down next to her and she said, "You that country singer?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I don't like country music." I said, "Really?" Well, I just really had to find out. I said, "You don't like country music?" She says, "No, I don't care for it at all." I said, "Let me ask you some questions if you don't mind." She said, "Sure." I said, "You like Kenny Rogers?" "Oh, yeah, I love Kenny." I said, "Ever heard of Crystal Gayle?" "Oh, yeah, it's Loretta's sister." I said, "You ever heard of the Oak Ridge Boys?" "Yeah." I said, "That boy singing bass is real cute." I said, "Do you like those people?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "You don't know it, lady, but you like country music." It was her. It was a different, to her, yeah. She didn't know, it might not be Bill Monroe, okay? But there's still an audience for Bill Monroe out there, as well as the new breed that's coming in.
It's big enough to have it all.
It's big enough for everyone.
Yeah. Is this, T.J., is this the way you wanted it to be, or the way you dreamed it would be, the way things are happening now?
Pretty much so, yeah. It's as...
They say a lot of times that creative people can really see ahead and almost see what they might be before they become what they might.
There's some truth to that, Teddy. I've always felt that all you had to do is envision where you wanted to be in life. And the power of positive thinking is very strong, and I'm a very positive thinker. I don't even like negative forces around me. I think in life, if you envision being on if you want to be a performer and you envision yourself on stage in front of 15,000 people, sooner or later, one night, you're going to walk out on that stage and you're going to see 15,000 people, and you're going to realize that you had seen that in your mind in the past and that it has come to pass. It happened to me.
You can almost make it happen.
Well, I think not so much make it happen or will it, but I think if you work toward that, you have a tendency to go in that direction, and it does happen in some way, some strange way.
They talk about, you know, the star that has to sacrifice, that becoming a star is a trade-off of some kind, that you have to give something up. Has it been true with you? Sure,
I think it's true with everyone. There are things that you sacrifice to be who you want to be. I don't know. There are days that I love to be home with the family and running around the house with my house shoes on, pajamas, and not doing anything. But the more successful you become in this business, you feel that you're going to be able to do what you want to do, but that's not true. The busier you become, and the more precious your time really is, because you don't have that much time, because you are going in so many different directions. The sacrifices to me is just one of your health, because you're going at such a pace that you need to take care of yourself. One of having time for the family. So to me, the saddest thing about this business is that you sacrifice something that most people don't really ever realize, and it's in any profession. You're working under such a strain and such pressure that you usually sacrifice your youth at a very early age. I find that people in a very high-pressure business, whether it be television or motion pictures or music or a lawyer, if they're one of the best at what they do, they got a little age on them, you know. But that doesn't bother me. I'll sacrifice the youth to be able to reach a lot of people with my music.
Yeah, well, the pressures in this business can age one very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I get 3 hours of sleep a night whether I need it or not. No, I take it kind
Of course, there are millions of people out there right now who are saying, well, I wish I wasn't hanging around the house with my house shoes on and I was going over to the Houston Astrodome and playing it like T.G. Sheppard has done recently.
Well, I'm sure there are, but we all have people that we look up to and we want to be like. Jimmy Dean shared something with me one time that I'll share with the people now. We did Larry Gatlin's celebrity golf tournament to raise money in Texas for, I think it was for cerebral palsy or muscular dystrophy, I forget what it was now. And Jimmy told a story about his mother back in the days when he had his network TV show in New York. She said, Jimmy, I want you to always be a good boy. I don't think Jimmy would mind me telling this if he's watching. She says, I want you to always be a good boy. She says, particularly on television. She says, because, Jimmy, she says, out there somewhere, there's somebody that wants to be just like you. So make sure that when they're looking at you that you're a good boy. So you never really know, no matter how little or how big you really think you are, there's always somebody back there that's looking at you. And no matter what you've got, they want it. And no matter how little you may think you have, there's always somebody that wants that or would like to have what you have. So, you know, I think you should really be appreciative of what you've got.
We'll take a break. Be right back with T.G. Sheppard. Stay with us, folks. Back with T.G. Sheppard. Want to talk about your bus? Somebody told me that you have one of the most outstanding buses on the highway today. When your bus goes by all across America, people just...
Yeah, bankers turn their heads and say, he owes us money. The bus was the first bus built by Sheppard Guitar Company. Yeah, David Jackson. The inside of the bus is done in burgundy colors.
Burgundy.
It's got pearl inlay and...
burgundy and pearl inlay.
Pearl inlay, and the woodwork is like, I think it's bird's eye maple.
Bird's eye maple and burgundy inlay.
Have microwave and TV and...
Microwave TV.
Video. A large bus note. Well, those things are very expensive. That particular bus, I think, is around $231,000.
How many miles to the gallon does it get?
At $231,000, it gets about 100 miles
total
on a tank.
Total.
Of course, we hold 600 gallons.
Yeah.
No, that's not that bad. I think about 70 miles, 7, maybe 8 miles to the gallon.
Does that bus represent everything that's happened? Is that the fulfillment?
No, not really. That's one of your goals when you start out, because you usually start out in the back seat of a Ford, and then you move up to a decent station wagon with a U-Haul. Then if you're real lucky, you're able to buy you a van and put your name on the side of it. Now that's a milestone. And then you get your first bus, which usually is a very old bus that breaks down a lot. Mm-hmm. Now you don't put your name on that one because it breaks down on the side of the road a lot. You don't put anything on that one. Then you get you a new bus and you put your name all over it.
So
no, it's a go.
Well, that sounds gorgeous. Do you travel in it, or do you fly to where you're going?
No, I fly quite a bit, but I enjoy riding the bus. We have 2 buses. I gave that particular bus to the band and the crew, and then I had a bus built for Diana and Jason and myself, my family, and so...
It's a family bus.
It's a family bus, but we can also use it for crew also. Mm-hmm. I like to fly. It's a little quicker. And but if I'm taking extra people along, or friends that usually travel with us sometimes, or guests, then we'll take offline. I mean, I'll ride the bus with them and spend some time.
Yeah. So many of the entertainers, people in our business, have a great insecurity, and they'll justify that in various ways. Sometimes it's with a lot of jewelry, makes them, it can remind them who they are, you know, or a bus can remind them, or a big home, or whatever. You've been in the business a long time, and things didn't come easy for you in the beginning, and you paid your dues. But do you feel that too, that everything could just fall apart one of these days?
I think that's what I think that's one of the main things that make people like me work harder, and because you realize that you're dealing in a business that's very fleeting. Fame and fortune is very fleeting in this business. You only have a certain amount of good years to really work.
What do you do? Is there any safeguard?
There's no safeguards, really. Well, there is. I truly believe that if you're honest with yourself and your public when you perform, and with the selection of your material, and you're basically a good person, I believe you're able to work a very long time in this business. I think you have to grow. I think your music has to be changing as you grow older in this business, and because there comes a day when you can't stand out there and shake around for an hour and a half, you know, and jump up and down in the air. I mean, you have to grow gracefully with your music. And
who has done that well? Is there a role model?
Kenny Rogers has done
Kenny
that
Rogers?
well. The days of first edition was a little different. He walks on stage now to still a young audience, but an older audience too, and is able to entertain both very well.
So that's kind of where you'd like to head, where you could kind of take your audience along with you.
Yeah. And then create a new audience as you go too. Our music is very contemporary. I make no bones about that. In our show, we have traditional music, we have gospel, we have everything in our show. But our music is geared toward everyone. I record music for the people, and try to have messages in the music that can mean something and people can relate to.
What do you owe to those people, TG? Do you owe them that after a show you have to sit on the stage and sign autographs for each and every one of them, or after you have given the best performance you can that night, that you have paid them what you owe them?
I give them whatever they want. If they want to stand in line for an autograph, I think the least I can do is stand there and sign something for them. Really. If they want to get in a tour bus and ride by your house and pay you the highest compliment they can be paid, just to ride by and look at the outside of your house, to me that's really special, that someone will want to take that much time to do that.
Yeah, but it's also special that you have privacy for your wife and family.
I strongly feel in this business that if you want privacy, you can have it. I am a people person. I've been known to run out the front door of the house and climb on the bus and talk to everybody on there for 15 minutes. I don't do it every day, but I do love people, and I wouldn't be in this business. I do love to perform, and I think I owe the people everything I have.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's the other school, you know, and you've met a lot of entertainers who say, look, they bought the ticket, I gave them a show, that's it.
I don't think they'll be around very long.
We're going to take a break and be right back with more. Stay with us. We're back with T.G. Sheppard for just a couple of more minutes. What could be the best thing that could happen to you from this point on, besides selling a lot of records and going on with the audience?
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly.
To know that I had maybe 10 or 15 good years left to work in this business with good health. I think if I knew that, I'd have everything I wanted.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that, because I don't dwell on health a lot, but I do try to take care of myself. I don't smoke, drink very little, maybe a glass of wine occasionally. Beer is very seldom. And make sure that the family was intact. Make sure that everything is together now. 10 or 15 years from now, just like it is now, yeah.
You're really, you know, you're really trying to live as normal, what they call a normal life, and still do the entertainment business.
I live a very normal life. What I do, to describe what I do for a living is a job. I go to work every day, just like you, and I've said this before, and like you, the people watching. The only difference between what I do and what some other people do is that we, like you and I, we happen to sit or stand in a spotlight once or twice a day. And because we do this, doesn't make us any better. That we want to go home after this, and we want to be secure and pay our bills and make sure our employees that work for us are taken care of. And to me, it's a job. I work very hard at it. I give 150% every time I work. And I think that people want to know that you're normal. I'm normal in every way. And I'm not any better than the people who put me on the stage every night.
You know, a lot of recording acts say if I could get something like a phase into movies or a regular television show or something like that that would get me off that road, that might be nice after a period of time.
No, I don't want to go in the movies. I have no desire to. I'm too busy trying to be a performer. And that's a full-time job. I don't have any time to do it.
Next year you'll probably be in a movie.
If it happens, but it's not planned. I want, there's a lot of people that don't know who T.G. Sheppard is still, and I want to go to those towns and make sure that they do know.